Hey there, you're listening to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, and MMA on occasion. Here's your host, RJ Carbone.
And a high drive into left center field. Stanley's going to watch another one fly. Are you kidding me? DiVincenzo a three. Bang! Bang! Knicks take a
Take this time to apologize to absolutely nobody.
At the wall. See ya! See ya! See ya! Mr. Nova.
Anthony for three. Bang! That one goes down and the game is tied.
Rose, you shook up the world again.
I did it again. My God did it, man. I really just had
Gonna have to. Bronson running away. Oh my! He has been the best player to put on that uniform.
Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
All right. Well, the Yankees drop 2 out of 3 to the Cubs. And they will be entering the All-Star break on a loss. They've done that now 7 years in a row, which is wonderful. But yeah, they have obviously been struggling. I do think they've righted the ship. You know, I don't think that Seattle series was an anomaly. I think we're going to see more winning in the second half of the season, whatever you want to call it, the post-All-Star break segment of the season. I do think they will be a good team again, and they'll bounce back from this series and go on to win 90-plus games, which is about what they're on pace for. And hopefully the division, right? I mean, that's the important thing here. But yeah, it's not like they're not in great shape right now. You know, you look back at the first whatever number of games the Yankees played, you know, we're about 60% of the way through, and the Yankees sit in second place. They're in second place, guys. That's not good. Second place by a whole 3 games, maybe, or 2 games, because Toronto lost again, fortunately. So they're in second place to the Toronto Blue Jays. It's a competitive division, but it's a very mediocre division that you are underperforming. You know, they're on an 89 win pace in second place. They've and I try not to get too invested into this kind of stuff, but a lot of their season has been the Yankees beating up on non-contenders. They are 34-22 so far. That's a .607 win percentage against non-contenders. And against playoff competition, teams that are currently playoff ball clubs, they're 19-21, a .475 record. They've gone 2-5 against the Jays, 1-5 against the Red Sox. Earlier this season, they went 1-2 against the Tigers. They took the first series against the Mets, lost the one most recently, so they're 3-3 against the Mets. 1-2, they lost that Dodgers series. Just dropped 2 out of 3 to the Cubs. You beat the Padres in a 3-game set. You swept Milwaukee earlier in the year, and you're 5-1 against Seattle. So those are the playoff contenders this year. So if you remove Milwaukee, which was forever ago, it's the opening series, that's an awful record against contenders. And this does exclude when the Yankees dropped 2 out of 3 earlier in the year to the San Francisco Giants, who are right now a fringe contender on the outside looking in. It's not indicative of the postseason. But it's frustrating. It's frustrating to watch my ace, Max Fried. I feel like he never shows up against big offenses. And so I went and researched. I'm like, is it just my feeling? Or is it true? And Max Fried against top 10 lineups this year via WRC Plus has a 4.86 ERA with 3 quality starts across 7 appearances. 5 innings, 1 run against Seattle. 6 innings, 2 runs against the Mets. 5 innings, 6 runs against the Dodgers. 7 innings, 2 runs against Boston. 6 innings, 3 runs against Baltimore. 5 innings, 3 runs against the Mets the second time. And then most recently in this series, 3 innings, 3 runs yesterday against the Cubs. That needs significant improvement. I don't care how well you perform against trash. And to be fair, Carlos Rodon, who's been the 1B this season, has very similar mediocre numbers against top competition. But obviously, we'll be talking about him in a positive light because he did shut down arguably the top offense in the game this past weekend. But it doesn't feel like Fried shows up when it matters. It feels like whenever the captain's needed to show up, like in a game like today, he's never to be seen. 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts today. He did his best October impression. So it's just, these numbers are very concerning. But again, they're not indicative of playoff success. Like the Yankees' record against playoff teams doesn't mean they're not going to win in the playoffs. In the playoffs, the stakes are much higher. These games actually mean something. The Dodgers' last regular season they were 27-28 against playoff contenders, if you care. It's just more of a litmus test. And right now, it doesn't truly feel like the Yankees can be included in that conversation as one of the best teams. Earlier in the year, the first 2 months of the year, first 2.5 maybe, yeah, I was very confident. And I still have some confidence in this team. But I'm going to have to see what they look like after the trade deadline. And I always go back to that. The last 2 months of the season are really the only 2 months that I truly pay attention to with any kind of urgency. But the Yankees dropped 2 out of 3 to the Cubs. On Friday, they won. This was their only win. They won 11-0 on Friday. That's one thing. You know, if you're down on the Yankees, they do support the second best win percentage. They do support the second best run differential in Major League Baseball. Second best run differential in Major League Baseball. That's not a joke. That means something. So they win 11-0 on Friday. You got the lefty Rodon against the righty Chris Flexen. The Yankees score 11 runs on 15 hits, 7 extra base hits, 4 walks, 7 strikeouts. They were 6 for 13 with runners in scoring position. They scored 3 runs in 4 innings on Flexen. 2 of them came bottom of the third. Judge hits the sac fly, and then Bellinger hits his first home run of the game. The Chicago Pen, Yanks got 8 runs on them in 4 innings. Bottom 5, Bellinger hits his second home run. Bottom 6, Volpe with the RBI double. About the only good thing he's done. Bottom 7, Goldschmidt and Escaro with back-to-back RBI singles to make it 8-0 Yankees. And then bottom 8 to make it 11-0 Bellinger. Hits his third home run of the game. And Goldschmidt with an RBI double. So Bellinger goes 3 for 5. 3 home runs, 6 RBIs. He almost hit 4 home runs, but he was robbed by Kyle Tucker in his, I think, 4th at-bat. Goldschmidt goes 3 for 5, couple of doubles, 2 RBIs. He's been hitting again. Ben Rice goes 2 for 5 with a double. Jazz Chisholm goes 1 for 3 with 2 walks. Judge goes 0 for 2. Couple of walks, a sac fly, and RBI. He made 3 outstanding plays in right field in this game. He robbed a home run. The very next play, he made a diving catch coming in. And then I think there was another great play that he made catching a ball, I think, in foul territory later on in the game. Really good right fielder. Just, I couldn't believe they put this guy in center field last year, even though that's his natural position. Volpe was 1 for 4, double RBI. Peraza 2 for 5, Dominguez 2 for 5, and JC Escara 1 for 5 with an RBI. That was your offense. Pitching was just as good. Rodon tossed 8 shutout. We'll talk about him. Scott Effross, the lone reliever to come in, pitched the 9th. No runs, 1 hit, a strikeout. The Yanks win 11-zip. Yesterday, the Yankees won 5-2. No, they didn't win. Why do I keep fucking up the score? Yesterday, the Yankees lost 5-2. The lefty Max Fried took on the lefty Matthew Boyd. Boyd's been in the league for a while. I remember him with the Tigers and trade talks. The Yankees never happened. But Fried wasn't good. 3 innings, 4 runs, 3 earned runs, 6 hits, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, no home runs, but 73 pitches, and he takes the loss. Yeah, he was awful from the get-go. He had nothing. Horrific command. Top of the first inning, he gives up a leadoff triple on an awful cutter, middle of the plate. Kyle Tucker later with an RBI ground out to put Chicago up 1-0. And then top 3, the wheels fell off. Kyle Tucker with a leadoff single off of another cutter. Suzuki doubles off of a Max Fried cutter. Kelly with the RBI single on a 4-seamer mislocated. 2-0 Cubs. Jazz makes the E4 at second base, throws that ball 15 feet up into the seats. 3-0 Cubs after that. And then Ian Happ with an RBI single off a changeup to put the Cubs up 4-0. So Fried was not good. He finished after 3 shit innings because he had a blister on his finger. He's okay. He's fine. Will not pitch in the All-Star game because he's lined up to pitch Sunday. So because he's due to pitch Sunday, quick turnaround. Scuba will be getting the start, and Fried won't be pitching at all. But Rodon will be pitching in place. The bullpen in this game, Hamilton, Effross, Hill, Brubaker, they were all good, but Lasagna did his usual, and he allowed a home run in the top of the 8th. And then your bats, just 2 runs on 6 hits, 4 extra base hits, no walks, 7 strikeouts. They were 1 for 5 in scoring position. No runs in 8 innings against Matthew Boyd. So the reverse Rodon. I guess that doesn't make sense. Did what Rodon did on Friday. The Chicago Pen, 2 runs in 1 inning the Yankees got on them. That was in the bottom of the 9th. The Yankees are down 5-zip. Judge hits the home run against Keller to make it 5-2. He goes 3 for 4 with a couple of doubles, a homer, and 2 RBIs. Bellinger goes 1 for 4 with a double. Extended his hit streak to 17 games with a double in the 9th inning there. It would end at 17. And then the Yankees lose today, Sunday, 4-1 to the Cubs. You have the righty Will Warren going up against the lefty Imanaga. He's a good pitcher, man. But the Yankees did not pitch very well. The bullpen mainly. You know, Hamilton came in after Warren threw 5+. He blew it, gave up a home run because that's what he does. Tim Hill, because he's not talented, issued 1 more run to make it 4-1. And also Volpe is one of the worst shortstops I've ever fucking seen. And I'm just about done with him. He couldn't turn a double play earlier in the game, and he screws up a routine play in this inning. But the bats weren't good. Bottom 2 is your only offense. Stanton hit the game-tying home run, and that was it. That was all your offense. Yankees had 2 fucking hits. But again, Imanaga is a really tough pitcher to hit. Will Warren, 5 1/3, 2 runs, 6 hits, a home run, 3 walks, only 1 strikeout. So he was not good. Only 1 strikeout. Didn't have it. Couldn't miss a bat. Yielded a ton of hard hit balls. He faced 24 batters. Again, 1 strikeout, 4 whiffs, and 14 hard hit balls that were put in play. So, yeah, contact was the name of Will Warren's game today. That was the name of Will Warren's game, but he did escape a lot of traffic. I mean, only 2 runs. You know, got a lot of ground ball outs. Top 1, Kelly hits into the double play off the 2-seamer. Top 2, he gets a ground out and a couple of flyouts. Top 4, Brujan grounds out on a 4-seam fastball, bottom of the zone. Top 5, you get PCA to ground out on a curveball low and away. Top 6, Ian Happ grounds out to end the night for Will Warren. It's a 4-seam low and away. So, didn't miss bats, but he got ground outs. And 5 and a third innings, 2 runs at the end of the day. Not terrible results, but the strikeout stuff has not been there recently. And I'll continue to say, Will Warren urgently, desperately needs an off-speed pitch that moves away from lefties. Right now, he doesn't have anything to keep them off his fastball. He's got the sweeper, which is an excellent pitch to go to righties with, but you can't go to lefties with that pitch until he develops that changeup. He will not be effective against left-handed bats. And right now, that pitch is not good. Top of the first inning, right off the bat, the lefty Michael Busch, leadoff home run, 92 four-seamer, middle of the plate. Later in the inning, the lefty Kyle Tucker, he walks him because he couldn't backdoor his breaking stuff. He was trying to. Because that's what he's got to rely on right now. I got to backdoor it since I have nothing that goes away. Top 2, the lefty Happ, leadoff base hit. Then the lefty Brujan later on with a 2-out single. Top 3, PCA from the left side of the plate. Rips the ball in the left center field gap, 104 miles an hour. Dominguez did track it down. Top 4, he walked Happ, the lefty again. Out of the zone with his 4-seamer. Top 5, he walks Tucker. He's out of the zone with his 4-seamer and slider. So, continues to struggle against left-handed bats. They were 3 for 11 in this game. That's a 273 batting average, but a home run, 2 singles, 2 walks, a bunch of hard hit balls, 385 on base percentage. He's got to find something in the offseason or develop that changeup even further to where he can get lefties out. And until he can't, or until he does that, he's going to have short outings like this, and he will have outings where he can't get swings and misses against certain lineups that are left-handed heavy. But overall, he does have good stuff, and it was nice to see him hold a very tough Chicago lineup to just 2 runs, right? I don't know if his stuff is enough to be much better than where he is right now. I think he's a good pitcher, a major league rotation arm, but again, we're going to have to see that pitch mix develop. And that's your series, folks. The Yankees lose 2 out of 3. But, I'll start on a positive before we get into some negative here. And this is not going to be the longest episode in the world because quite frankly, I don't feel like talking about this team right now. I need a break from them. Thank God we're getting a break from them. I'm going to start by tipping my cap, though, and I'll tip it to Carlos Rodon. We're tipping our cap to Rodon for the 6th time this season. He was brilliant on Friday. 8 innings, no runs, 4 hits, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts, no home runs, 109 pitches, and he takes the win. He shut down the best offense in the National League, maybe even in baseball. 2 pitches this game he relied on. He threw 5 changeups, threw 10 sinkers, but he was 42 four-seamers and 52 sliders to lead the way. The slider was getting a ton of whiffs. He threw 22 sliders to the Cubs lefties, which is really good to see because most pitchers are very ineffective. I think he threw a lot to Cubs righties, is what I meant to say, which is good because most pitchers are ineffective when you're throwing sliders to opposite-handed hitters. But Rodon has really done a nice job the last couple of seasons mastering that back foot slider, and it helped him get a couple of swing and misses in this game. In the first inning, he got Suzuki strikeout swinging on it. Later in the game, I forget who it was, some righty, he gets swinging and missing to set up a 2-strike count. But yeah, he's really good with that back foot slider. And then the 4-seamer, it was playing early, got a lot of flyouts with it. It set the slider up in counts. Early in counts, he was going to the 4-seamer, attacking righties with it. So he was good. Rodon continues to be the ace of this staff, or the number 2, whatever you want to call it. You got 2 aces in the staff, really. But yeah, you got 2 starters in the All-Star game. So there you go. He's back in the All-Star game, Carlos Rodon is, which is nice to see. Again, he will be replacing Max Fried on the roster, but nice to have that for him, for a guy who came here and struggled initially. We know the story. But yeah, a brilliant performance overall to save the bullpen, which is not a good bullpen if you haven't heard by now. Yeah, I don't want to keep repeating the same shit because it's got no point on the show here where we're talking about this shitty, godforsaken abomination of a bullpen every single episode. But like, what else is there to really complain about right now? I can't really make complaints about. Yeah, I can nitpick and talk about Volpe being horrendous and Peraza, but at the end of the day, there have been games. So there are games where the Yankees erupt for 11, 12 runs, like they just showed you. But there are also games where the Yankees have no business making it close, no business coming back or even making it a game. Like the Seattle 5-0 game that you ended up winning 6-5. Or like yesterday against the Cubs when it was 5-0 and you ended up losing 5-2. Save situation. They produce easy offense. It is a lineup that is relentless. It's hard to navigate because of the balance. You can't really go to a reliever this easily to get a lane because the Yankees have that much balance. They've got a lefty hitting here, followed by a righty, followed by a lefty, followed by a switch, followed by a lefty, followed by a righty, etc., etc. They're consistent where every night they're producing runs. When you compare it to the rest of baseball, they are no less consistent than the other top lineups, by the way. They score in many different ways. They're top 10 in batting average, doubles, triples, homers. They score on the bases with their athleticism. They're powerful, as we know. They've got plate discipline. They're constantly getting on base and walking. It's a lineup I'm very confident in. They're keeping you in games even when they're not at their best. This bullpen needs a complete revamp. It needs a complete makeover. Now, the good thing is that the good part of your bullpen, the back of your bullpen, Williams and Weaver, they're starting to look like themselves again. Williams for a little bit now. Weaver is starting to find it in his last few outings. So you put them together and you consider them back, and you hope that Fernando Cruz gets right and healthy enough to prepare for the playoffs. And you got Tim Hill, who's pretty reliable in those lefty lanes when you need a ground ball, when you need a double play. But you get to your middle relief, right? The bridge guys that are coming in after a short start from one of your starting pitchers. Those middle relief arms have been awful. Awful. Ian Hamilton cannot be one of your main guys. Johnny Loaizaga at this point cannot be one of your main guys. Mark Leiter Jr., who's got a negative WAR, cannot be one of your main guys. I know people like to play the luck game with him, but you also said that last year and the results never came around. You have to trade for at least 2 relief pitchers. And I'm talking about 2 high velo arms who can get both sides of the plate out. Not specialists. Guys who can retire lefties and righties. So you need to do something like that. And Cashman's spoken very aggressive about it, which is a good sign because he usually doesn't do that. But now we need to see the action. And the Yankees have plenty of assets, by the way. That's another thing that gets on my nerves. I always hear people talk about, well, the Yankees can't really afford to do this and this and this. They don't have the assets to trade for. That's such a lazy and recycled go-to narrative. Because they always say this about the Yankees. And what happens? Cashman ends up getting what he wants. They traded for Fernando Cruz. They gave away Jose Trevino. They got Cody Bellinger for Cody Poteet. They got Jazz Chisholm for what? Augustine Ramirez, who's having a great year. But it's Jazz Chisholm. They traded Jake Cave for Luis Heel, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I could go on and on about this stuff. Look at what Grisham's turned into. So I don't want to hear any of that because you've got guys that you can move. You got Lombard Jr., who's tearing it up right now. Just played great in the futures game. I don't know if they consider him untouchable. They might. But you got Spencer Jones, who's been on fire. His trade value is back where it used to be. You got Cam Schlittler, who just showed you a little bit of a showcase the other day, throwing 100 miles an hour. Speaking of heat, you got Carlos LaGrange, who's throwing 103-mile-an-hour two-seamers down there. You've also got expiring contracts on your roster, like Grisham and Goldschmidt and Williams. I don't think they're going to do that, but Grisham and Goldschmidt, if you do kind of a soft sell, could net you something. It could at least, it might not get you a crazy return, but it does clear room for Rice and Dominguez to play every single day. It would allow Boone to put a consistent batting order out there, one for lefties, one for righties, consistently. But I think those guys are safe. I think in the postseason, having drag and drop bats off the bench is very valuable. Regardless, my point is you have the assets to make a deal here. So you need to make a deal. Multiple deals. And you can do some things to get creative in-house. Sure. We've talked about here how Luis Heel to the bullpen might be a good idea. Luis Heel just began his rehab assignment today. He was throwing 96 to 99 with ease. Struck out 6 guys in 3 innings. I think moving him to the bullpen could be a good idea. Helps him stay healthy. I think his velocity will play up. I think he's got the right pitch mix for a relief pitcher as a right-on-right guy who can throw fastball slider. And he does have a changeup if you want to face lefties. And I know I said the Yankees said that they want to build him up as a starting pitcher. But, he's got maybe 2 or 3 rehab starts before he's ready. I think about using him as a relief pitcher when he's back. Maybe a piggyback guy for the back end of the rotation. Or maybe you send someone like Cam Schlittler to the bullpen. You got an interesting logjam once Heel returns with that back end of the rotation to where you can afford to put some of these guys in the pen. And if you want velocity, you want velocity in the bullpen, right? Especially today. So there are options they can do in-house to make their pen better, but they do need to attack the trade market aggressively. But speaking of bullpen, I do want to shout out Scott Effross. And I'll tip my cap to Scott Effross because I thought he had a good series. And so for the first time this season, we're going to be tipping our caps to Scott Effross. I think Scott Effross could be a part of this bullpen. He pitched 2 scoreless innings this weekend. He's getting low leverage innings right now, but I do want to see them start to use him in higher leverage spots. As I've mentioned, he's got the pitch mix to get righties. He's got the crazy arm angle to where he can complement that slider with his 2-seamer. Ton of low pitches. It's tough to pick up as it is, but you're a righty. Seeing that slider going away, and then you get a 2-seamer coming in your hands. It's the perfect mix. Effross, if he's healthy, could play a role. It's a new face. It's different than Loizaga, different than Hamilton. These guys have not been good. But that's pretty much my spiel on the bullpen. That needs to be the thing they address. And then lastly here, I'll tip my cap to Cody Bellinger. Big series for him. Obviously, he had the big game on Friday. 3 home runs, almost 4. He had another hit on Saturday to continue the hit streak to put it at 17. That ended today, but he's been great at the plate. He's got an OPS over 800. Batting average, I think, in the 280s. He's playing great outfield. If he needs to play some first base, he'll do that. He runs the bases well. Speed. He's been everything the Yankees have hoped for. People are starting to talk about Cody Bellinger extension. I'm not sure about that. He's 30 years old. He's been very much a roller coaster in his career. You saw what happened to DJ LeMahieu when they jumped. You got Kyle Tucker, who's entering the market in the winter. So I don't know if I'm going to go there, because Kyle Tucker is a whole level ahead of Cody Bellinger. As good as Bellinger's been, Tucker is 25 years old. Is he even that? But Cody Bellinger, man, he's been awesome for the Yankees. You couldn't ask for more. You really couldn't ask for more. He's got the power. He's been a great contact hitter as well, and he's doing the right field or the outfield stuff too. I think that's it. I'm going to wrap it here. Again, shorter episode. I was going to say up next. We don't have an up next. We have about a week off because it is All-Star break. And the Yankees will be sending multiple representatives. They've got Judge. They've got Chisholm. They've got Rodon. They've got Fried. Did I miss anybody? Could make a case they should have Bellinger in there. Certainly can. All right. No trivia. No breaks. We're just going to wrap it up. Get to our outro here. So let's do that now. I appreciate you all. And I'll see you in the next episode. Episode 883 in the books. Later. Well, if you made it this far, that means you listened to or watched the entire episode. Thank you. Just remember to follow, subscribe, download, rate and review, and all that fun stuff to help out the podcast. And I will see you in the next episode of BD4.